Hello there, my wonderful friends. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of preparing dinner, trying to answer a phone call and simultaneously remembering what you needed from the grocery store, all at once, only to realize you've completely forgotten one of the ingredients you just added to the pot, or even worse, what you were going to say to the person on the phone? It's a common scenario, isn't it? That feeling of your brain just not keeping up, especially when you're juggling multiple things. Perhaps you brushed it off as just getting older or a momentary lapse. But what if I told you that one of our most common daily habits, something we often pride ourselves on, might actually be doing more harm than good to your precious memory? As we age, I'm talking about multitasking. And while it might have felt like a superpower in our younger years, it can become a real detriment to our cognitive health after 60. But don't you worry, because in this video, we're not just going to talk about the problem. We're going to dive deep into why multitasking specifically impacts memory in later life. And most importantly, I'm going to share some incredibly practical, easy-to-implement strategies. Do this instead tips that can help you protect and even sharpen your memory. We'll explore powerful, simple shifts you can make in your daily routine to reclaim your focus, boost your recall, and genuinely feel more present and capable. It's about making smart choices for your brain choices that truly support your memory and overall well-being. So let's peel back the layers and understand why this seemingly innocent habit can be so damaging and what beautiful alternatives await us. The first crucial step is truly understanding the why behind this challenge, especially for us magnificent individuals over 60. Our brains are truly incredible organs, capable of amazing feats, but they do change with age, just like every other part of our bodies. And one of the most significant changes affects how effectively we can switch between tasks, which is essentially what multitasking demands. When we're younger, our brains are often described as having more processing power or cognitive reserves. We might have been able to hop from emailing to talking on the phone to planning a shopping list with relative ease. But as we gracefully move past 60, certain brain functions, particularly those involved in executive control, things like attention, inhibition, and task switching, become a little less robust. Think of it like a finely tuned engine that's been running for many, many miles. It still runs beautifully, but you might not want to push it to redline constantly, right? When you multitask, you're asking your brain to rapidly switch its attention back and forth between different demands. Each switch isn't instantaneous or free. It comes with a cost. This cost is what scientists call switching cost, and it involves a momentary mental slowdown as your brain reorients itself to the new task. For younger brains, these costs are often negligible, but for brains over 60, these costs are amplified. The neural pathways involved in this switching become a bit less efficient, making it harder and slower to transition smoothly. What happens then? Information doesn't get properly encoded into memory. Imagine trying to read a book while someone is constantly changing the radio station. You'd catch snippets, but you wouldn't truly absorb the story. That's what happens to your memory when you multitask. Your short-term memory, often called working memory, gets overwhelmed. Working memory is like a mental scratch pad where you hold information just long enough to use it. If you're trying to hold 3 or 4 pieces of information from different tasks on that scratch pad simultaneously, it quickly becomes overloaded. Your brain simply can't pay enough attention to any single piece of information long enough or deeply enough for it to be properly processed and moved from short-term memory into long-term storage. This is why you might forget what you were just doing or what someone just told you moments after the fact. It's not that your memory is failing, it's that the information never had a chance to get properly filed away in the first place because your attention was fragmented. Moreover, chronic multitasking can increase stress levels. When you're constantly feeling rushed, pulled in multiple directions, and not quite getting everything done efficiently, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol. Elevated cortisol levels, particularly over long periods, are known to be detrimental to the hippocampus, the part of the brain that plays a critical role in memory formation. So not only does multitasking directly interfere with immediate memory encoding, but it can also, over time, subtly undermine the very structures responsible for long-term memory. It's a double whammy, my friends. But the good news, the truly liberating news, is that once we understand this, we can make conscious, powerful choices to reverse the trend in support of our magnificent brains. It's not about doing less, it's about doing things smarter with greater intention. Now that we've shed some light on the why multitasking can be so damaging to our memory after 60, let's talk about the what to do instead. The first powerful strategy, and perhaps the most fundamental shift, is embracing the art of single tasking. Imagine approaching your day not as a frantic juggling act, but as a series of distinct focused engagements. Single tasking means consciously choosing to focus on one activity, one conversation, one thought, or one task at a time, giving it your undivided attention until it's completed, or you decide to take a planned break. This isn't about being slow or unproductive. It's about being incredibly effective and allowing your brain the clarity it needs to truly process and remember. When you single task, you provide your working memory with a clear, uncluttered space. You're telling your brain, okay, this is important, and I'm giving you all the resources you need to handle it well. This allows for deeper encoding of information. For example, if you're reading an article, put away your phone, close other tabs on your computer, and just read. Feel the words, understand the concepts. You'll find you absorb so much more, and the information sticks with you longer. If you're having a conversation, truly listen, make eye contact, put your hands down if you're doing something else, and engage fully. You'll not only remember the details of the conversation better, but you'll also feel a deeper connection with the person you're speaking with. To practice single tasking, start small. Choose one task a day that you commit to doing with absolute singular focus. It could be washing the dishes, writing a letter, or simply enjoying a cup of tea. Turn off distractions. Put your phone in another room. Close your email. Give yourself permission to be fully present with that one activity. You'll be amazed at how much more quickly and effectively you complete things and how much better you remember the experience. The peace of mind that comes with knowing you've given something your full attention is a wonderful gift to yourself and your memory. This intentional shift from scattered attention to focused presence is truly transformative. And speaking of presence, that brings us beautifully to our next strategy, cultivating mindfulness. Mindfulness is closely related to single tasking, but it goes a step deeper. Encouraging a particular way of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about being fully aware of what's happening right now, whether it's the warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of your food, or the sound of birds outside your window. When you practice mindfulness, you're essentially training your brain to stay anchored in the present, reducing its tendency to wander off into worries about the past or anxieties about the future, which are often the true culprits behind our fragmented attention. After 60, our brains benefit immensely from this focused attention training. It's like a gentle workout for your cognitive muscles, strengthening your ability to concentrate and filter out distractions. When your mind is less cluttered with extraneous thoughts, it has more capacity to observe, process, and ultimately remember the important details of your life. Imagine eating a meal mindfully. Instead of watching TV or scrolling through your phone, you simply focus on the food. Notice the colors, the textures, the aromas. Savor each bite, paying attention to the flavors as they unfold on your tongue. When you eat mindfully, you don't just enjoy your meal more. You also engage your senses and your brain in a way that helps to create a richer, more memorable experience. You'll remember what you ate, how it tasted, and even how it made you feel much more vividly than if you had rushed through it distracted. Simple mindfulness practices can be woven into your daily life. You don't need to sit in lotus position for hours unless you want to, of course. You can take a mindful walk, noticing each step, the feeling of the ground beneath your feet, the sounds around you. You can practice mindful breathing for just a few minutes each day, simply observing the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. These small moments of intentional presence accumulate, building your cognitive resilience and enhancing your memory's capacity to store and recall information. It's a gentle yet powerful way to nurture your mind and live more fully in the moment. Now that we've explored the profound benefits of single tasking and cultivating mindfulness, let's turn our attention to how we manage our daily responsibilities. This leads us to our third powerful strategy, strategic task management and batching. Often when we feel overwhelmed and resort to multitasking, it's because our to-do list feels endless and unstructured. But with a little thoughtful planning, we can create a rhythm that honors our brain's natural ability to focus and remember. Strategic task management isn't about doing more, it's about doing things smarter. It involves taking a moment to look at your day or week and intentionally group similar tasks together. This is called batching. For example, instead of answering emails every time one pops up, designate specific times of the day for email responses. Maybe it's once in the morning and once in the afternoon. During those dedicated slots, you focus solely on emails, and then you close your email program until the next designated time. This minimizes the constant interruption and context switching that is so draining for our brains. Think about other tasks in your life, perhaps all your administrative tasks, bill paying, appointment scheduling, making phone calls, can be batched together into one focused hour, or your household chores. Instead of tackling one chore here and another there, perhaps dedicate a specific block of time to all your kitchen cleanup or all your laundry. When you batch tasks, your brain doesn't have to keep reorienting itself. It stays in a particular mode, becoming more efficient at that type of task. This reduces mental fatigue and critically allows information related to those tasks to be processed more deeply and consistently, making it easier to remember details and instructions. A simple planning routine can make all the difference. At the start of your day, or even the night before, take 5 minutes to jot down your top 3 priorities for the day. Don't create an overwhelming list. Just focus on what's truly essential. Then consider how you can approach those priorities with single tasking in mind, and where you can batch smaller, similar tasks. For instance, if you have a doctor's appointment to schedule and a few phone calls to make to friends, you might batch those communication tasks together. Or if you have a recipe to follow and some kitchen tidying to do, you can batch your kitchen duties. This approach helps you feel more in control, less rushed, and significantly reduces the mental chaos that leads to memory lapses. It's about creating order for your mind, allowing it to work with clarity and purpose, which in turn strengthens your memory's ability to recall what's important. This deliberate organization is a true act of self-care for your cognitive health. Next, we will delve into a strategy that often gets overlooked in our busy lives, but is absolutely essential for memory consolidation and overall brain health: the importance of regular brain breaks and cognitive rest. We live in a world that often celebrates constant activity, but our brains, especially as we mature, thrive on periods of rest and recovery. Think of your brain like a muscle after a workout. It needs time to repair and grow stronger. Similarly, after periods of intense focus, or even just daily cognitive effort, our brains need a chance to reset, consolidate memories, and process information. If you're constantly pushing yourself from one task to the next without pause, your brain doesn't have the opportunity to move newly acquired information from temporary storage into long-term memory. This is where those frustrating moments of, "it's on the tip of my tongue," often come from. Regular intentional breaks aren't a luxury, they're a necessity for optimal memory function. A brain break doesn't mean switching to another demanding mental task. It means truly stepping away from cognitive effort. This could be as simple as standing up and stretching, taking a short walk outdoors, gazing out a window, listening to a piece of instrumental music, or even just closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths. The key is to allow your mind to wander gently or to focus on something entirely non-demanding. Even just 5 to 10 minutes every hour or two can make a profound difference. These short respites actually boost your productivity and focus when you return to your task because your brain has had a chance to refresh itself. Beyond short breaks, incorporating deeper periods of cognitive rest into your week isn't also vital. This might mean dedicating an afternoon to a leisurely hobby that engages your hands but allows your mind to relax, like gardening, knitting, or painting. It could be spending time in nature where the natural environment offers a restorative effect on our attention. Avoiding screens for a portion of your evening, especially before bed, is another excellent way to give your brain a true rest. Allowing your mind to unwind without constant external stimulation helps it process the day's events and prepare for restorative sleep, which is our next critical point. So remember, building in these moments of pause throughout your day and week isn't being lazy. It's a strategic investment in your memory and cognitive vitality. It's about creating space for your brain to thrive. And this discussion about cognitive rest brings us perfectly to our fifth vital strategy, prioritizing quality sleep and smart physical activity. These two pillars are foundational for a sharp memory and overall brain health, especially after 60. You see, while we are resting, our brains are anything but idle. Sleep is an incredibly active period for the brain, during which it performs essential housekeeping duties. This is when newly formed memories are consolidated, meaning they are transferred from temporary storage into more permanent long-term memory. If you're consistently getting insufficient or poor quality sleep, you're essentially robbing your brain of the opportunity to file away the day's experiences and learning. Think about it: if you've had a busy day, absorbed a lot of new information, or even just engaged in many conversations, a good night's sleep is what helps cement those details in your mind. Without it, you might wake up feeling fuzzy and find that details from the previous day are elusive. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Establishing a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day, even on weekends, can significantly improve your sleep quality. Create a relaxing bedtime routine, dim the lights, avoid stimulating activities like watching intense TV or scrolling on your phone for an hour before bed, and perhaps enjoy a warm, non-caffeinated drink or a calming book. Investing in your sleep is one of the most powerful things you can do for your memory. Beyond sleep, smart physical activity is an absolute game changer for your brain. We often think of exercise as being good for our bodies, but it's just as crucial, if not more so, for our minds. Regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients. It also promotes the growth of new brain cells and strengthens the connections between existing ones, a process called neurogenesis and synaptogenesis, particularly in the hippocampus, that crucial memory center we discussed earlier. You don't need to train for a marathon to reap the cognitive benefits. Moderate activities that get your heart rate up and make you a little breathless are perfect. This could be brisk walking, swimming, dancing, cycling, or even active gardening. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity most days of the week. Find something you enjoy, something that feels good to your body and your spirit, and make it a consistent part of your routine. The key is consistency, not intensity. Even short bursts of activity like taking the stairs instead of the elevator or doing a few stretches throughout the day contribute positively. Combining quality sleep with regular physical activity creates a powerful synergy that actively protects and enhances your memory, giving you a noticeable boost in cognitive clarity and recall. It's truly a holistic approach to brain health. Finally, we arrive at our sixth and seventh interconnected strategies for a vibrant memory after 60, embracing lifelong learning and nurturing meaningful social connections. These aren't just pleasant pastimes. They are crucial cognitive exercises that keep our brains agile and resilient. Lifelong learning isn't about going back to school, though. If you wish to, that's wonderful. It's about maintaining a curious mind and actively seeking out new knowledge and skills, whatever form they may take. When you learn something new, you create new neural pathways in your brain, essentially building a richer, more interconnected cognitive network. This concept is called neuroplasticity, your brain's amazing ability to change and adapt. The more you challenge your brain in new ways, the more flexible and robust it becomes. This could be learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, delving into a new hobby, like photography or pottery, mastering a new recipe, or even regularly engaging with puzzles, crosswords, or strategy games. The key is to step outside your comfort zone and genuinely engage your mind with novelty. The process of acquiring new information, practicing new skills, and solving new problems is incredibly stimulating for the memory centers of your brain, helping to keep them sharp and active. It's like giving your brain a delightful and challenging workout that leaves it stronger and more capable. Similarly, nurturing meaningful social connections is profoundly beneficial for our cognitive health. Humans are social creatures, and interaction with others stimulates multiple areas of our brain simultaneously. When we engage in conversation, we're not just speaking, we're listening, interpreting nonverbal cues, recalling shared memories, expressing emotions, and formulating responses. This complex interplay of cognitive functions provides a rich and natural workout for our brains, enhancing memory, language skills, and even problem-solving abilities. Isolation, on the other hand, can be detrimental to cognitive health, sometimes even accelerating cognitive decline. So make time for your friends, family, and community. Join clubs or groups that align with your interests. Volunteer for causes you care about. These interactions provide mental stimulation, emotional support, and a sense of purpose, all of which are powerful protective factors for our memory and overall well-being. Share stories, discuss current events, or simply enjoy the company of others. These moments are not just enjoyable, they are actively building and maintaining your cognitive reserves, giving your memory the rich dynamic environment it needs to thrive. So my dear friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, exploring why multitasking, a habit we once valued, can actually hinder our memory after 60, and most importantly, what we can do instead to protect and strengthen it. We began by understanding the why, recognizing that our amazing brains need a different approach as we mature, favoring focused attention over fragmented efforts. We then discovered the power of single tasking, giving each activity our undivided attention, and how cultivating mindfulness helps us stay rooted in the present moment, truly absorbing life as it happens. We learned the wisdom of strategic task management, in batching, organizing our days to minimize mental clutter and maximize efficiency, thereby reducing the strain on our working memory. We also emphasized the critical role of regular brain breaks and cognitive rest, allowing our minds to consolidate memories and recharge, preventing burnout. Then we delved into the non-negotiables, prioritizing quality sleep for memory consolidation and engaging in smart physical activity to boost blood flow and nourish our brain cells. And finally, we just explored the immense benefits of lifelong learning and nurturing meaningful social connections, both of which keep our brains active, adaptable, and vibrant. Remember, dear friends, improving your memory and cognitive health isn't about making drastic, overwhelming changes overnight. It's about making small, consistent, and intentional shifts in your daily habits. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a powerful investment in your brain's future. You have the power to create a life of greater focus, clarity, and joyful recall. Your brain is a magnificent gift, and by adopting these simple strategies, you are honoring it, nurturing it, and empowering yourself to live a life full of rich memories and vivid experiences. You are capable of so much, and your best years are absolutely still ahead of you. I truly hope these insights and practical tips have resonated with you and given you some valuable tools to embrace a more memory-friendly way of living. I would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these strategies resonates with you the most? Are there any do this instead tips you've already found helpful in your own life? Please share your wisdom with our wonderful community. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, please give it a big thumbs up. That really helps our channel reach more amazing people like you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more content dedicated to helping you live your best, most vibrant life at every age. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Wishing you the best life possible, filled with presence, joy, and crystal clear memories at every age.